born to those who pledged their lives in sacred honor, was smiled upon by God and freed from chains and iron collar. He is held aloft on unity and by history revered, for preserving peace through strength his wings now reach across 200 years. But for each of those and 1 year more, God has smiled upon the Corps, from the Barbary coast to the eastern sand, by sword, by gun, or by bare hand. So it's been and shall be weighed, though many are born, few are made. Faithful always they shall remain, dogs to loose when war is waged.
Morning, Sarge here. So this real quick vid is about the installation of the BooneDox Landing Gear on my Hobie PA 14. So if you're not interested, you can just shut it off right now. Hitting up my Morgan Blackjack with some 5100 in it. So I started to install the BooneDox as instructed, but when I pulled the H-bar up, it took a lot of force to pull it up high enough to get it over the extrusions, or the black sections of the BooneDox, and that just wasn't right to me. So I decided I was going to drop the extrusions off the gunnels and down onto that rib that goes across right behind the seat, and it had to be blocked up so that the wheel bars that go between the H-bar and the gunnel, and I'll show you that. Now that caused some other issues. You lose a little bit of overall width, and the center bar takes up more room inside, so I had to remove the little plastic caps and fabricate my own to go in there. So I gained back I don't know, 1.5 inches or so. But let me take you out there and show you all that. So here we are. What I ended up doing was using a piece of 1 inch thick polypropylene, and it's cut, I think 3.5 or 3 3/4 by 4, and it's drilled for same setup as stock. I used the threaded bars underneath, the support bars, but I had to get 2-inch stainless steel bolts for the extra length. There's really no problem installing them. I can reach back in there. Like I said, what I did was move these extrusions off the gunnel from underneath, keep it out from underneath the H-rail. It put a lot of stress on the point where the steering handle is, and it would have spaced it up quite a bit more. It looked like it was going to be more than most everybody was having to do it, 2 or 3 spacers. But so what that did, of course, was moved the wheel bar inboard by about 1.5 inches or so. Actually, right about at 1.25 inches. So I lost 1.25 inches on each side. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you start getting into other things. So when I did that, it changed the position of the extrusion on the orange rail by the same amount. So you lose distance inside. So when you put the wheels in, it hits the orange bar. So what I ended up doing to get some distance, took these end caps out, and this gets you back 1.5 inches. And I fabricated some polypropylene plugs to go inside, flat ones, And that worked out pretty well. Everything's locked up. Got a pretty big backyard here, so I just took it down yesterday, rolled it around a little bit. And what I found was, when I put a load on it, these wheels, they tilt back quite a ways, and then they just rub against the hull. And the kayak's not loaded yet, so I think it's going to rub quite a bit. So I'm looking at that. What I may do is go ahead and make a plug. It's just stainless steel, so it can be modified. I don't think these stops are in the right spot. I think they're a couple degrees off, and it lets the wheels rotate too much in the receiver. It's not much up here, but down at the wheel, it's a couple inches, inch and a half or 2 inches. So I may end up cutting the tube, building a plug, an insert, tubular insert, and then just welding it in to get my distance back. And I'll maintain the same geometry they have there. Not gonna mess with that. And that'll get me the width back anyway. So when I do load it down, it should stay away from the hull, and it'll give me that wheelbase back. I don't like the locks, like a lot of other guys. They used it's powder coated aluminum and steel bar, and it's powder coated, but they got these cheap ass Chinese looking CAD coated bolts in here. So I'll just go ahead and I think I'll just get some stainless and make a knob for it. Something that's corrosion resistant, because I've heard these rust up pretty quick. A couple of guys have commented on that. So when you do the blocks, if you do it this way, you do lose the those little anchor points, the little looped anchor points. So what I'm going to do is probably make some T-nuts and put an anchor in each side up here. That's for bungee cords and such. So that's pretty much it right now. It didn't take me long at all. I mean, a couple hours and I was done, even with the modifications. And I think I like that a lot better, not having to put so much stress on that H-bar. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna like that setup, like I said. But anything that was said derogatory to the engineering of this system, yeah, that's my own opinion. I didn't care for it, so and I have the capability, so I'm gonna change it. Try to make it work so it works better for me. I like the system so far. Just running around the yard. Hope to get it wet this week, and you know, try it on the water, see how it works. So thanks for watching. Stay frosty, and we'll see us on the next one.